Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Monday, July 28th, 2025, and this is your AM update.
I think Ghislaine did a wonderful job. She was asked maybe about 100 different people. She answered questions about everybody.
Will Ghislaine talk? Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell meets with the DOJ as questions surface about a potential pardon in exchange for further cooperation.
What that intelligence shows is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier.
CIA Director John Ratcliffe teases that more declassified documents relating to how the 2016 Russian interference narrative took off are on the way, this time implicating Hillary Clinton. And New York City mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani, a Democratic socialist, throws an elaborate wedding bash overseas with military-style security, raising eyebrows and accusations of hypocrisy. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM update. If you are stressed about back taxes, maybe you missed the April deadline or your books are a mess, don't wait. The IRS is cracking down. Penalties add up fast, 5% a month, up to 25% just for not filing. But there is help. You don't have to handle this alone. Tax Network USA can take the burden off your shoulders and stop the spiral before it gets worse. They have helped thousands of Americans, whether you're an employee, a small business owner, or you haven't filed in years. Messy books? No problem. They've seen it all. Tax Network USA has direct access to powerful IRS programs and expert negotiators on your side. You'll get a free consultation, and if you qualify, they may even be able to reduce or eliminate what you owe. More importantly, they will help protect you from wage garnishments or bank levies. So don't wait for the next IRS letter. Call 800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Megyn to talk to a real expert at Tax Network USA. Take the pressure off. Let Tax Network USA handle your tax issues. Convicted Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell sitting with the DOJ for a 2-day interview late last week, sharing knowledge with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche about other potential uncharged Epstein associates. Maxwell's attorney, David Oscar Marcus, sharing some details of the meeting with reporters on Friday.
I think Ghislaine did a wonderful job. She literally answered every question. She didn't say, you know what, don't ask me that. I'm not going to talk about this person. She was asked maybe about 100 different people. She answered questions about everybody, and she didn't hold anything back.
Maxwell, currently serving a 20-year prison sentence for her role in Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse and her own misconduct, is currently appealing her conviction. ABC News reporting Maxwell answered questions for about 9 hours after being granted a limited form of immunity for her cooperation. Speculation mounting as to whether Maxwell will trade further cooperation for clemency. On Friday morning, President Trump brushing off the question.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
Maxwell's attorney saying the prospect of a pardon has not yet been raised while they consider potentially testifying before Congress next month.
Of course, everybody knows Miss Maxwell would welcome any relief. She's been in very difficult conditions for 5 years. There have been no asks and no promises, and nothing like that has been made. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And, listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way. Congress has subpoenaed her to testify. We have to make a decision about whether she will do that or not. That's been scheduled for the week of August 11th, and we haven't gotten back to them yet on whether we'll do that.
And also in the House, on Sunday, House Speaker Mike Johnson managing calls from within House ranks to take further action in relation to the Epstein files, sharing his stance on any potential pardon for Maxwell.
Well, obviously that's a decision of the president. He said he had not adequately considered that. I won't get in front of him. That's not my lane. If you're asking my opinion, I think 20 years was a pittance. I think she should have a life sentence at least. Think of all these unspeakable crimes. And as you noted earlier, probably 1,000 victims. It's hard to put into words how evil this was, and that she orchestrated it and was a big part of it. at least under the criminal sanction, I think is an unforgivable thing. So, again, not my decision, but I have great pause about that, as any reasonable person would.
Various House factions currently pursuing multiple avenues in obtaining the Epstein files from the DOJ. A House Oversight Subcommittee last week approving a subpoena requesting the files, though Chairman Comer has yet to take further action in actually issuing that subpoena. A source close to the committee telling us at AM Update that details on the scope of the subpoena will soon be released. Republican Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna of California spearheading a bipartisan effort to force a vote legally compelling the DOJ to release the entirety of the Epstein files, with redactions protecting victims' information and removing child sexual abuse material. Speaker Johnson Sunday on NBC saying the Massie-Khanna discharge petition is flawed.
Because you have to protect innocent people's names and reputations whose names might be, as you noted at the outset of the program, intertwined into all these files. The Massie and Khanna discharge petition would require the DOJ and FBI to release information that they know is false, that is based on lies and rumors and was not even credible enough to be entered into the court proceedings. And that would be a dangerous thing. Our main concern here, though, is the protection of the innocent victims. I mean, these are minors in many cases who were subjected to unspeakable crimes, abject evil. They've already suffered great harm. We do not need their names being unmasked. The Massie and the Khanna discharge petition does not have adequate protections. For example, in the way that it was drafted, they cite that they don't want child abuse, sex abuse information uncovered, but they cite the wrong provision of the federal code, and so it makes it unworkable. It requires the DOJ to release grand jury testimony. They are prohibited by law from doing so. So it is not the right approach.
Congressman Khanna Sunday on NBC downplaying those concerns.
Now, there's a reason the Justice Department usually doesn't release information before charging people, and I understand the sensitivity of that. And I think the American people are fair. They're going to be able to distinguish between someone who got a grant from Jeffrey Epstein to do cancer research versus rich and powerful men who were abusing underage girls.
Congressman Massie and Khanna telling NBC they believe they will have the support needed to bring the vote following this August recess.
I think when we get back, we can get the signatures required to force this to the floor. Speaker Mike Johnson should do the right thing and just bring it to the floor and not require us to force it.
Congressman Khanna, I'm out of time, but yes or no, will it pass?
It will pass.
Calls for accountability growing amid bombshell declassifications by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard over the past several weeks. A newly declassified 2020 House Intelligence Committee report reigniting scrutiny of the Obama administration's role in shaping the Russian interference narrative that dominated the first Trump administration. DNI Gabbard last week releasing the long-buried report finding top intel officials used flawed and selectively filtered intel to construct the President Obama-directed 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment, or ICA. That report famously, and perhaps infamously, claimed Russian President Vladimir Putin, quote, aspired to help then-candidate Trump win the presidency in 2016. Sunday on Fox News, CIA Director John Ratcliffe saying the agency is working to declassify more documents that will reveal cooperation between the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Obama administration's FBI to boost the bogus Steele dossier.
Part of what came out last week was about how John Brennan, Clapper, Comey, they all pushed the known fake Steele dossier into intelligence community assessments and as the basis for Crossfire Hurricane and all that. But what hasn't come out yet and what's going to come out is the underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex. And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia collusion claims by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what Hillary Clinton was up to.
These revelations renewing calls for accountability from Trump allies, with demands to investigate and prosecute those involved for what DNI Gabbard calls a, quote, years-long coup against President Trump. But questions remain about what, if anything, can still be prosecuted given the statute of limitations on the potential crimes. Director Ratcliffe saying there's still time.
John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex, what that reflects. And so, Pam Bondi does have a strike force. It is a different Department of Justice, a different FBI, and an opportunity to look at how these people really did conspire to run a hoax, a fraud on the American people and against Donald Trump's presidency. And so coming forward, we understand that they did this, but now we need to understand how they did this.
Former head of the House Intel Committee, Devin Nunes, who ordered the 2020 Intel report analyzing the ICA, on Sunday telling Fox News there is no statute of limitations on conspiracy.
All of these hoaxes that happened were done by the same people in many cases, and one led to the other. So you had Hillary starts the collusion hoax. Obama continues the collusion hoax. Mueller continues the collusion hoax. I mean, Mueller and that team of witch hunters should also be looked at everything that they did. Then when Mueller completely flames out, why? Because there was no intelligence that tied Trump to Russia. Then what happens? We get this fake whistleblower from inside the agencies that says that Trump's doing something weird with Ukraine. And so you end up with that. And then you get to the Hunter Biden laptop. And then you get to the raid at Mar-a-Lago. All of that is happening with basically the same 24 people and media operatives that are all involved in perpetuating these hoaxes.
Coming up, defund for thee, security for me. New York City mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani, who previously called for defunding the police, raises eyebrows with a luxurious wedding bash protected by military-style security. Too bad you can't have it. Grand Canyon University, a private Christian university in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, believes we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. GCU believes in equal opportunity and that the American dream starts with purpose. By honoring your career calling, you can impact your family, friends, and community. Change the world for good by putting others before yourself. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's online, on-campus, and hybrid learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique academic, personal, and professional goals. With over 340 academic programs as of September 2024, GCU meets you where you are and provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu. Far-left Socialist Democrat nominee for New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani taking a short break from the campaign last week to celebrate his new marriage with friends and family in his native Uganda. The radical progressive appearing to try to get ahead of the story last week, posting this video to social media.
And since you will undoubtedly read about this trip in the New York Post, inshallah on the front page, here are a few of my humble suggestions for headlines. MIA, Mamdani in Africa. Uganda miss me. He's completely crazy. The Afra can't be serious. Carl Campanile investigates Mamdani. Zoe running away.
The New York Post indeed reporting on the trip, discovering the candidate who previously called for defunding the police hosted a, quote, lavish 3-day affair at his family's ritzy, secluded Ugandan compound, complete with masked security guards and a cell phone jamming system. The property reportedly sitting in a wealthy neighborhood with homes easily valued at more than $1 million and at least one billionaire neighbor. You know, the kind Mamdani says he doesn't believe should exist. According to the Post, the Mamdani family, quote, sits on 2 acres of lush gardens surrounded by trees, has breathtaking panoramic views of Lake Victoria, and features at least 3 security gates. The report raising eyebrows given Mamdani's past support for abolishing private property and defunding and dismantling the NYPD. As a mayoral candidate, Mamdani somewhat softening that stance, focusing on other promises like freezing the rent. In terms of policing, Mamdani kind of backing off calls to defund, though proposing a Department of Community Safety he says will be tasked with dispatching social workers to address nonviolent crimes and problems with the mentally ill and homeless. He apparently does not consider domestic violence to be, violent, because those calls, too, he wants handled by social workers. Mamdani taking incoming for this trip from his former Democratic primary opponent, the disgraced former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, who's now running as an independent in the mayoral race. Cuomo's social media team posting a poll on X responding to the New York Post exclusive, asking whether to call the hypocrisy champagne socialism or trust fund socialism. And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the Megyn Kelly Show live on SiriusXM Triumph Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.